Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this video I wanted to show you beautiful English countryside. We spent a weekend break in a spa hotel near Cotswolds called Lucknam Park. From there we went to the Cheddar Gorge, beautiful city of Wales, and a really nice town called Frome. We live in North London, so it took us around 2 hours, maybe slightly over 2 hours to get to Lucknam Park. We stopped for a quick lunch break on the way there at the hotel just in time for the check-in. So we just arrived. The check-in here at Lucknam Park starts at 3 p.m. It's now almost 4, which hopefully will give us enough time to enjoy the spa if it's open and other facilities. I'm not sure if we will be able to walk because it still gets dark very early. It looks very lovely here, very beautiful. Lucknam Park is one of the prime examples of estates that used to be quite grand in their era. I think it was built around the end of the 17th century and used to be a stately home up until the end of the 20th century. I think it was bought by a Greek businessman in 1987, and then it was transformed into a luxury hotel that was often featured in the lists of some of the most beautiful and luxurious hotels in the country. The hotel is nice. I think that they kept the sort of original, suitable for the time designs. I think it kind of might be in a slight need of a renovation, especially a bathroom in our room was a little outdated, but the spa was wonderful. It is actually quite rare to find outdoor swimming pools. It's worth mentioning outdoor heated swimming pools in England. It's quite popular in countries like Switzerland, Germany and Austria, but it's quite unusual to find in the UK, probably because of really high costs of keeping the pool open. It is quite expensive in winter, but Lucknam Park had one and we made sure to enjoy it. It also had a quite large indoor swimming pool, jacuzzi, sauna, steam room, everything you might need. There was also a very beautiful bar at the hotel, and we were lucky to capture it almost empty. We stopped there for, well, Pepe, in case of Pepe, he got a glass of whiskey, and I got a cocktail. They were nice, a little bit manly. I like sweet cocktails, but the bar and the library room were so beautiful. It was such a pleasure sitting there next to a fireplace. There are actually 2 restaurants at the hotel. One has a Michelin star, and the set menu there was quite expensive, was at least £110 per person, and a slightly cheaper brasserie that was unfortunately closed for refurbishment. So we drove for about 15 minutes to Bradford-upon-Avon to a gastropub called The Bunch of Grapes, where we had really lovely dinner. The breakfast was included in the room rate, and the service was really nice. All the dishes were beautifully presented, and there was a menu to choose the main dish from. Pepe got yogurt, and I got a variation of full English breakfast without bread, because I'm trying to avoid bread because of my food intolerances that I've recently found out about. But after breakfast we went for a country walk around the area of the hotel, and of course it is more enjoyable to do in summer. In our case, we were visiting Lucknam Park in February, so it does look a little grey outside, but the area is really nice, and in my opinion everything in the hotel was actually really good. So if you want to book it, I will leave the link to the hotel in the description of the video down below and also in the pinned comment. Since we were already quite far away from home, we actually decided to drive even further and discover some of the places we haven't visited before. Of course, the obvious choice was Cotswolds, because Lucknam Park was located just around the corner from Cotswolds, but we have visited Cotswolds many times before. I think I even have a video about Cotswolds on this channel, so we decided to go to a place we haven't visited before, and the road there actually went through the city of Bath. I visited Bath 2 times before and I really loved it. In my opinion, Bath is among 3 most beautiful cities in the United Kingdom. The most beautiful for me is Edinburgh, then it's York, and then probably is Bath. Let's get back to the trip. So the city we were going to, or rather a town, is Cheddar. Yes, we haven't been to Cheddar before, and I'm pretty sure you probably have heard about Cheddar because of the world famous cheddar cheese. On the way to Cheddar, there is this famous Cheddar Gorge, which is a beautiful natural attraction. Lots of people come here for hiking, especially in summer or during the early autumn or late spring. But even though it was February, there were already quite a few cars we saw on the way, and we saw quite a few people hiking in the area. In our case, we just decided to skip hiking because we didn't have that much time, and we went directly to the town center. We arrived to Cheddar. Just gonna go and check out the shops. I don't think we're gonna be hiking in the Cheddar Gorge. At least we're not wearing appropriate clothes for that, but it is a lovely town. But of course, as you can imagine, it's famous for its cheese, so that's why we're gonna go and check out the cheese shops. The town itself is relatively small. It's not particularly impressive or charming, but it provides a great gateway to the countryside. We went to a couple of shops. The first shop sold a lot of souvenirs, including some ceramics, fudge. Of course, you can find fudge everywhere in the UK, and quite a bit of cider. There was also a separate cider shop we went to. Of course, Cheddar is in Somerset, and Somerset province is famous for its cider. And then we went to the official Cheddar shop, where you can try a few of different varieties of cheddar cheese. And they also have various workshops and a tour, kind of cheese making tour they do a couple of times per day. So if that's up your street, you might be interested in booking it in advance, or maybe arriving early and booking it on the spot. Our next destination was just a short drive away from Cheddar, and it was another famous city that we haven't visited before, called Wells. We stopped at a local cafe for a quick lunch and then went and started exploring the city. So just on the map, Wells is located on the southeast from Cheddar. As I said, it was just a short drive away, and I was actually quite impressed by Wells because even though it is a very small city, yes, it actually has a city status. It's the second smallest city in England after the city of London. Its population is only 12,000 people, but nonetheless, there are quite a few things to see. The first one is the Bishop's Palace, where we are at the moment. To go inside, obviously, you have to buy a ticket, and it costs £17.50 for an adult, but you can walk around the inner courtyard and enjoy it without a ticket. The second thing to see, of course, is the cathedral. The cathedral in Wells is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful ones in the UK. It's really, really pretty, and of course, Wells is one of the cathedral cities in the UK. It's all built around the beautiful cathedral. And of course, the third thing to see is this beautiful street. So this street, located right next to the Wells Cathedral, is supposedly, well, or maybe there is actually proof, is actually the oldest residential intact street in Europe. And just look how pretty it is. What is crazy, actually people live here, trash collections come here, the cars, it's like a proper inhabited residential street. It would be really interesting to see how these houses look inside. It is probably possible to see if you check Rightmove, especially if some of these houses were sold in the last few years or were let and rented by new people, new residents. But yeah, I wonder if they look very medieval inside or they are quite modern. Would be great to see. If you actually know, if you've seen some of these houses inside, please let me know because I'm really, really curious. After seeing Vicar Close and spending some time there, we returned to the city centre of Wales, walked a little bit and started driving to the next and the final destination of the day. Finally, the last destination for today, the town called Frome. I thought it's pronounced Frome, but then researched a little bit and found out that the correct pronunciation for it is Frome. So Frome was really unique because I've never seen a tiny brook going through the city centre anywhere in the UK. It looked really interesting. Not sure why they have a tiny river, tiny brook in the middle of the street, of a busy street. That is actually like one of the high streets with most of the cafes and restaurants of the town. So yeah, that looked really unique and it's definitely memorable because of that. Frome used to be really prosperous in the medieval times. It used to be actually a center for cloth, wool and textile production in the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th and even beginning of the 19th century. It used to export textiles all the way to mainland Europe. It used to be so large and so important and so prosperous, was for a very long time much larger than Bath. Because of that, Frome also has the most listed buildings in the whole Somerset province, has I think over 300 buildings, and it's visible. There are really many beautiful buildings around the town. We actually thought that's it, the kind of the area around the Cheap Street and the hill, pretty much everything you can see in Frome, but we were so wrong because there is actually another gorgeous area that is just hidden around the corner. And even though it was Sunday, of course, and probably like 4 p.m, so everything was closing or almost closed, there were still people walking around and the area looked really nice, cheerful. Unfortunately, since all the shops were closed, we could only appreciate their offerings from the outside. But I actually saw so many nice, interesting shops, very unique, quirky, independently owned stores, which kind of made me want to return to Frome to do a little bit of shopping, because I personally love those little quirky, independent shops. Frome is actually a really good place to live. According to a few ratings, it's one of the top places to live in Somerset and even in the top 10 of best places to live in the entire England. So yeah, it's a really, really good place to visit and even move if you're looking for a place to move to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and see you in the next videos. Bye!